So this is an Incomm E7 thermostat running at 24 volts AC. To start with, we have Fahrenheit Celsius button. Displays on the left hand side. So as we press FC, we swap between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Fan controls our fan speeds. So we have 3 fan speeds. 3 full dots is high. 1 dot is low. 2 dots is medium. If we touch anything, it goes to auto, so it will adjust the fan speed automatically, depending on how far out of band you are. So big number is the set temp, little number is the room temp. In this case, we're 2 degrees out, so it will be running, but it will probably be at low fan speed because very gradual. There's a 1 degree delta though, so once we get within 1 degree of the set temp, it won't try to keep cooling or keep heating, because we don't want to overcool or overheat the room and cause it to cool into a heat call or heat into a cool call. As I go further out of band in this case, so set 65 now, room 73. We heard the fans kick in at high, and it will try to cool the room with a high fan speed because it is a further difference. It's automatic thermostat, so if your set temp is below the room temp, more than 1 degree, it will cool. If your set temp is more than 1 degree above the room temp, it will try to heat. We have a motion detector right here. So onboard motion, it handles the motion only timeout, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Then mode, we have off and we have automatic. If you press off, it's not a true off. It's emergency band, which your guys is 63 to, I'm just gonna step over here. 63 to 81 is your emergency band. So if the room gets colder than 63, it'll kick in heat, and above 81, it'll kick in cooling, even if it is displaying off.
So there's no heating mode, cooling mode, it's just auto and off, that's it?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Then for basic functionality of thermostat, that is what you get. There's also a photo cell at the bottom that gives you a light metric on the server. Since you guys will have the door tied in, it's not really going to be utilized for any automation. One of the purposes is if we're doing motion only logic, so no door tie-in, then we can say, hey, if the room is bright, do a motion timeout, default's 4 hours. If the room's dark, do a motion timeout after 8 hours. So that way you have a lower likelihood of it going falsely unoccupied while a guest is asleep.
Okay.
Yes.
Could that be used for if we have a lighting control in the future?
That wouldn't really be utilized for that purpose.
Okay.
We do support lighting control, obviously,
Yes.
so I think you're aware.
Yep.
That wouldn't really be utilized for that because you wouldn't necessarily want to adjust the lights based on what we're detecting from the photo cell.
Okay. Are there any hidden menus or anything like
Yes.
that? Yeah. Okay.
So there's 2 modes we can go into. First is service mode or service menu. We hold FC, so hold the FC button. While holding FC, press release mode, press release fan, release FC. First parameter we come to is RID, stands for room ID. This is the room number. Mode enter. The high value, which I refer to as the high value because if you look at the number of dots, see it's the same as the fan speeds. So the first value is 3 full dots. I refer to as the high value. This is only used in suites with multiple HVAC zones. Otherwise, it's 0. So the primary HVAC zone or the only HVAC zone, is 0. If you have a bedroom, that's 1. If you have a secondary bedroom, that's 2.
Okay. In the suites, which one is the primary? Which room is the slave? Is it
So the
the
one
living
closest
room?
to the door,
Yep.
so the living room,
Mm-hmm.
then
That's the master.
that's the primary.
The primary, yeah.
So there are master slave configurations in, I believe, the suites up on 16 and 17.
Yep.
And in this room, this main space. But this is one HVAC zone, even though there's 2 units, and they mimic each other.
Okay.
In suites like 08 and 10 room stack, those are separate zones. So each thermostat independently controls its own zone.
Okay.
So those are the ones where the primary is 0 and the secondary zone is 1.
Okay.
And then 1710, the secondary bedroom to the right is 2.
Okay. And what else is in the
So if we
service
press,
menu?
so primarily service menu will be utilized for verifying the room number and network settings of the thermostat itself.
Okay.
There's a few tests you can do in as well as binding the door.
Okay.
I pressed fan, and now we're on the medium value. This is the floor. You can think of the medium value as the floor. So we're on the 3rd floor, so 0, 3. If we're on the 4th floor, we just go up to 4.
Okay.
Fan again, now we're on the low value. This is the room number. This meeting space is where the room 310 would be. So it's referred to as 310 in our system. So the low number is 10. Press fan again, we just loop back through. So 0, 0, 3, 10.
Okay.
Mode will save.
So that takes the spot of having like dip switches like on our old ones.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is saying, hey, this is the room number.
Yep.
That's how it shows up in the system.
Okay.
And any RF devices in the room communicate with that room number.
Got it. So if we brought a new one in, that's how we would program it.
Yes.
Okay. We'll walk through doing that with a new one.
I press the up arrow once. We get pan, mode enter. In this case, we're on the 3rd floor, so the pan is 234. Your pans are 3, 4, and 5 are pan 234. 6, 7, 8, 237. And this will be in the as-built documentation we'll receive as well. 9.
When you say pan, that's the server that it's
That's
reporting
which
to, the
edge
router?
router we're talking to, yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a look at the edge routers in a second.
Yes.
Okay. That's how the thermostat communicates with the network.
Yes. It's which router we're talking to.
Yep.
They all mesh together on that individual pan.
Okay.
Then fan to save. RF is 26 for the whole property.
Mm-hmm.
Fan to save. So I'm pressing
What's
mode.
RF?
Radio frequency.
Okay.
It's just which channel we're on.
Yep. So all of them are 26.
All of them are 26, yes.
Okay.
So if you're on service mode, we press mode to enter a menu.
Mm-hmm.
Fan to save. If you don't want to save, you can press FC to exit out at any point.
Okay.
ADR is where we'd go to bind the door lock.
Okay.
So we go ADR, mode to enter. We'd scroll up to 65.
Okay. What is 65?
It's the address of the door lock.
Okay. That's just how it was programmed.
That's what being card is referred to in our system as 65. So
Okay.
press fan. This will start a 2-minute bind window. Then you take the EMI and discovery key,
Mm-hmm.
and you present the EMI key first. That enables Zigbee and gets the lock ready. And you could do that before entering the bind. Then once you're in the bind, take the discovery key, present that against the door lock, and that triggers a bind.
Okay. We don't have them yet, so my team will know that, but
Correct.
in the future we will.
Yeah.
We'll refer back to this. Okay.
I'm just going to do an FC to back out since we're obviously not binding at the moment.
Yep.
I/O, we could bind the balcony sensors from here if we didn't have a laptop available.
Okay.
So you go I/O. Are there rooms with more than one balcony sensor?
No.
I didn't think so. So we go I/O 12. Press fan. And this will start a 2-minute bind window for the balcony sensor in that room. This room doesn't have a balcony sensor, so I can't represent it.
Okay.
But we would pull off the plastic cover and press the little button on the device.
Got it.
It would,
Okay.
light would flash. It would trigger on here.
Okay.
I/O 12 is just saying you are the first balcony sensor.
Okay.
You can also do it from a laptop. Okay, FC to back out. PNG or ping. This is where we can see what devices are communicating in the room. The commissioning document should state what what address the devices are programmed as well as it's shown in engine. So you can go PNG, would enter. In a standard room, you'll only have 2 devices. The thermostat, which is address 14, and the X47, the relay pack in the unit, which is address 224,
Okay.
224. In rooms with a master-slave configuration happening, the slave unit will be, the relay pack is 225, and the thermostat is 15.
Okay.
So we go PNG, we scroll down to 224. Press fan. And we're looking for random numbers. So don't worry about what the numbers are. If we're getting numbers crossing the screen, then it's communicating.
Okay. So if you're getting nothing, it's not communicating.
Correct.
Okay.
If we did 225, it would as well, but I'm gonna scroll back down.
So that's what it would look like if it wasn't communicating, just dashes.
So like, let's
Just
say,
pick a random one.
yeah,
Right?
250. There shouldn't be anything communicating 250. It just doesn't respond.
Got it. Okay.
RST mode enter. 0 will just do a basic reboot. 255 will do a full factory reset, so I would recommend against that unless you're about to toss the thermostat in the trash can.
Okay. Why would we need to do either one of those?
So 0 is just kind of like toggling the switch in the unit.
Okay.
This is a smart thermostat. It's pretty much a computer.
Okay.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Got it.
It can fix a surprising amount of issues.
You
Just
could,
power cycle.
you could just turn the power
You
off.
could just toggle the power to the unit too. I prefer toggling the power because that will kill the thermostat temporarily. Then turning it back on, it boots up fully, and it's more likely to resolve a software issue if you were having one than just a basic restart would. But a basic restart is a good basic troubleshooting step.
Could we do a factory reset on here?
Yeah, we can do that at the very end.
Okay.
Just getting FC to back out. Upside down AAN or WAN is a server test. Currently the server is not communicating with the rooms, so it's going to fail the test, so we press mode. It just says done,
Yeah.
or DON. If it was communicating, we would see the room number flash across the screen as well.
Okay.
Because we're saying, hey, what's my room number? And then we're saying, hey, what's my room number? Then the done message is just saying, hey, I sent that. So if we don't receive the room number back, it's not communicating with the server.
So if, let's say we have an edge router go out, or
Yeah.
one particular room loses connection, it's going to just be a standalone thermostat. But we'll get alerts on our server when it's built.
It'll say offline,
Yeah.
or not communicating.
Okay. And then, so would that be the first thing we do is we go into the room if it's offline?
So I would check the, first I would check to make sure the thermostat's powered on.
Yep.
Then there's a error message where if the bottom screws aren't in correctly, like this one, they've already been removed. So if the thermostat, nice, I unplugged it. So it's gonna power up. This is supposed to say SWP. I'm not quite sure what alphabet was used to make that determination,
Okay.
but this is saying smart wall plate. This is saying,
That's the error code?
please connect me. Yeah. saying I'm not
Okay.
connected.
Ah, okay.
So let's say after your renovation,
So it can't just hang there.
yeah. So if it's just hanging there, obviously right now it's powered on, so it takes a while to time out.
Mm-hmm.
So don't just go up to one and be like, it says SWP, let me just click in the bottom a little bit without like resolving the actual issue.
Okay.
But I know you guys are pulling thermostats off and they're going back on
Yes.
16 and 17. 2 bottom screws on the bottom are very important.
Okay.
You guys will have extra down in your engineering office.
Great. Okay.
If any get misplaced. But those are the first 2 things I would check is, hey, is it powered on? Does it say SWP?
Okay.
If it's displaying the temperature, press and hold FC. We'll go back into service mode. So again, for service mode, press and hold FC. Press release mode, press release fan, release FC. Parameter RID, we would check the room number, just like we did a few minutes ago. 310, that's correct. And we would go up to pan, 234, that's correct.
What is 334 again?
The pan, which router we're talking to.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Yes.
the 4th floor router.
Okay.
So
So
234.
they're all
is what we're
23 or 234. Well, no.
all are RF channel 26.
Got it.
3, 4, 5 are 234.
Okay.
6, 7, 8 are 237. So the 7th floor.
Got it. Do you have it on the map?
Yeah, I can show it in a minute.
Okay.
Then, yeah, I'll show that in a minute.
Sure.
But 234 is correct for the 3rd floor. And RF channel 26. So all this is good.
Okay.
So if this was still not communicating and the other rooms around it are communicating, like we don't have an edge router offline.
Yeah. So RF radio frequency number 26. That's correct.
Yeah. Those would be the primary reasons they wouldn't be communicating.
Yeah. What's
It's one of those
ADR
ones.
again?
Address, this is where we go to bind the door lock.
Yep. That's right. Okay.
And IO is for binding devices as well. That's where we go to bind the balcony sensor if we weren't using a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And ping.
What does ping do again?
It just pings the devices in the room. You can put in a particular address and see if it's communicating.
Yep. Okay. For troubleshooting.
Yep.
Right?
RH is just humidity. So we're
Okay,
gonna
but
see.
we're not utilizing that, right?
Well, we can see what the humidity in the room is.
Oh, so the sensor's actually on
Yes,
the...
there's a built-in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that'll show up on the network of what the humidity is, and I believe you guys have dehumidification enabled,
Okay.
which we can look at the logic of that.
Okay. What is the humidity in this room?
It says 16%. I know.
Oh, wow, it's low.
Yeah,
Seems
I mean
really low.
it's winter.
Yeah.
It's pretty dry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
RST, WAN, so door or DOR. I always say door spelled the redneck way.
Mm-hmm.
Mode enter.
Mm-hmm.
This will start a door test. We would open and close the door or depress the anti-pick
Yep.
on the lock, and it would count every door event, and it would beep when the door is open and stop beeping when the door is closed.
Okay.
It only beeps in the door test.
Got it.
Door is not currently tied in, so we can't actively show that. PIR, passive infrared, just stands for the motion sensor technology.
Okay.
We press mode, we can see it's counting motion events.
Got it. So we can verify.
And this
that
is
it's
the
working.
same way the door would be functioning as well.
Okay.
And what looks like upside down A1N stands for BLN, stands for balcony. This is where we go to test the balcony sensor. So we go mode, to open and close the balcony.
Okay.
Also, if the balcony is open, it'll lock down the thermostat after 30 seconds.
Yes.
And it'll show a little door icon
Okay.
on the thermostat. So if you see a little door icon and thermostat's not working, close the balcony.
Okay. And then if the sensor turns out to be bad, we would put a new sensor in.
Yes, and if you don't have a new sensor handy, you could pull the batteries from the sensor and power cycle the thermostat, and it won't necessarily know it has a balcony door until it receives that first message.
Okay.
So you can disable it that way.
Okay.
So just kill the sensor temporarily while you're waiting for replacement.
Yep.
Cycle. Also, if you put the thermostat in VIP mode, which is also referred to as EMS light or limited energy management mode, which I'll show in a minute, it will disable the balcony sensor while it's in that mode.
Okay.
That mode lasts for 72 hours or check out once your property management system is live.
So that would be a good way for troubleshooting. Like if we have someone in the room, we want to switch it over so that it's.
Yeah, it's good to just be able to do some bypasses.
Yeah.
That'll limit the unoccupancy bands to be within 1 degree.
Okay. But not leave it like that forever.
Yeah, it expires either after 72 hours or check out, depending if your property management system is connected or not.
Okay.
And this test counts up the same way as the door test or the motion test would.
Okay.
We can skip over the last couple menus. CTR stands for contractor mode. This is where we can lock the thermostat out.
Mm-hmm.
It will still handle its own logic and it times out actually quicker than it normally would. So just be aware that it won't stay exactly at what you have it set at if you put it in contractor mode.
Okay.
It just locks out the control.
Okay.
I know you have some renovations going on upstairs, so you guys may want to use it. Press mode to enter. One line will take us out of it. So if we're already in contractor mode, we can just press fan, it'll reboot the thermostat, and we'll be back to normal operation. But if we wanted to set, let's say, to 70 degrees, or you could go off. And again, it's not a true off.
Yeah.
It will still try to keep the room in the emergency safe band.
Okay.
So you go off. I'm just going to press fan.
Great. So it's still awake. It will just kind of.
Yeah, it won't let the rooms freeze.
Yeah.
Or burn up, but can't adjust it. You can see there's a little triangle on there.
Yep.
Can't adjust anything.
Great.
That way you don't have middle of summer contractors working on a room that's 65 degrees.
Yep.
Because they got a little warm.
Okay.
So we can go back into service mode. Again, hold FC. While holding FC, press release mode. Press release fan, release FC. Now I'm going to go down just because CTR is much closer going down than up. It's just a loop of a menu. CTR, mode enter, then just press the one line. If you're already in contractor mode and you're just adjusting what temperature you have it locked at, it won't power cycle. You just press fan, it'll lock it in, and you can press FC to back out.
Okay.
Now we can see we're back to normal operation.
Great.
I'm going to go back to service mode. So hold FC, holding FC, press release mode, press release fan, release FC. Then last menu is parameter E7.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every room, E7, 14, don't touch it, don't mess with it. But the secondary thermostat in a master slave configuration.
So the bedrooms and the suites?
Not the bedrooms, but the secondary living room thermostat.
Oh,
So-
in the three presidentials.
Yes,
Yep.
or in this meeting space on 3.
Yep.
The secondary thermostat will be E715.
E715. Okay.
Yeah. And that's in your commissioning document and stuff as
Okay.
well. So E715 for that, the secondary thermostat, that's just saying, hey, you're the secondary thermostat. Don't try to take control of the room.
Okay.
Just listen for messages and act as a kind of bounce point, where if you touch either thermostat, it'll adjust on both.
Okay.
So this is the primary thermostat, this is 14.
Okay.
And fan to save.
All right.
I'm going to press FC to exit. Then VIP mode or EMS lay or limited energy management mode, all the same mode. If you hear me say one of them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm referring to the same mode, just different names over the decades.
Okay. So we're troubleshooting in a room. A guest is upset.
Or guest calls down and says, hey, I want my thermostat to go to 85.
Yeah.
It only goes to 80. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's like, it's middle of summer, man.
Yeah.
But press and hold mode. While holding mode, press release fan, press release up arrow, release mode. It says LEN, stands for limited energy management.
Okay.
Now we can see we have expanded temperature range,
Yep.
85 to 62 versus 65 to 80.
Okay. And then this will stay in that mode for 72 hours and then revert back.
Or check out depending if your property management system is live or not.
Got it.
Right now, server to edge router communication isn't active, and also the PMS integration is still pending.
So occupancy sensor won't work.
Like
it doesn't shut
it'll
down.
still show up on the server, but it will keep it within 1 degree of what you have it set at versus up to a 4 degree delta.
Got it. If it's unoccupied.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If the rental status changes, though, it will go back. It will exit that and go back to an expanded band.
Okay.
It will also disable the balcony sensor for that duration.
Okay.
So, and that can be changed over the network too if you don't want that to disable. I know people are spending so much on your suites.
That's fine.
They're the only ones with the balcony sensor. So.
Yep.
But door can stay open, thermostat will keep running. Just be aware of that.
Okay.
If we want to manually exit limited energy management mode, we can hold mode. While holding mode, press release fan, press release down arrow. So we did, and it says NOR for normal.
Got it. So it's press release fan, press release up to put it on.
Yep.
And then down to release it.
Yes.
Okay.
So at the thermostat, there should be 2 bottom screws. They're small Phillips heads. We'll put this back in a few minutes. Ooh, that came off.
The wire came out.
Yeah.
So what are the 3 wires?
All right, we got common or ground, 12 volt, and S5 bus. S5 bus is our data communication wire.
That's the black one?
So white is our data communication wire.
Okay. White's communication.
Yes.
Black is 24 volts, right? And red's a common? Or
black is common, and red is your 12 volt.
okay.
And this is coming from the relay pack, so that's where you're getting the 12 volt power.
All right, red 12 volt, black common,
And if you're metering it,
white
your
data.
communication wire, your S5 bus, will be 4.7 volts DC. All this is DC, by the way.
Okay.
At the,
What will
at
be
the thermostat side.
What will be 4 volts?
Like 4.7 to 4.9, from common to your data wire.
Got it.
And the thermostat is how the relay packs get information. So if your thermostat data wire isn't communicating with the relay pack, it won't be getting any message.
Okay.
Since they're hardwired devices. And the thermostat acts as the brain for the room. Pull this off. This is power. This is no longer powered.
Yep.
So you come back up.
There's no buttons on the back of the thermostat or anything,
Nope.
right? Okay.
But there is this data chip. So if you take a brand new thermostat
Mm-hmm.
and you click it onto the data chip, so without the thermostat connected, we just thought it was an SWP. I just bypassed SWP by clicking on pulling it back off. If I have it connected and I factory reset the thermostat, it'll factory reset the backplate too.
Okay.
But if you take a brand new thermostat and you click it onto the backplate, but like assuming the backplate hasn't been factory reset,
Yeah.
it'll copy the information over.
Oh wow.
Still good to check the information,
Yep.
but copy it over, and it'll just start functioning.
Door switches and balconies, or
Um,
all of that.
So the lock you would need to rebind.
Okay.
Because they share MAC addresses.
Got it.
So if you physically replace the thermostat, it doesn't have that information anymore between the lock and the thermostat.
Okay.
But balcony sensors,
The slave.
relay pack and
configure-
stuff, everything
yeah.
else in the room will just start working.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into service mode. Go up to RST.
So you're doing a factory reset
Yep.
with it not being connected to the
The
mount
backplate,
chip,
yeah.
the backplate chip.
255, press fan, it's going to reboot.
All right. So this is a full brand
Yeah.
new thermostat theoretically.
Yep. So I would do that, and then I'd kill the power, or I'd take the power off. So let's just say that's a brand new thermostat. I recommend turning the power off, then clicking it on before it reboots.
Okay. You're just holding it against
I'm
it?
just making sure it's got good communication. Yeah.
Okay.
See, it flashed a couple times, so I should have taken it. And now we can see,
Oh, wow,
copy the
nice.
information from the
Great.
backplate. But if we had so we replaced the thermostat and the backplate, full new install. Just gonna fully factory set this.
Okay.
So first parameter we come to is RID. This is just what boots up into.
Mm-hmm.
RID, mode enter. Default room ID is 65535, so I just want to change that to what the actual room number is. So in this case, high value is 0, because that's the primary HVAC zone of the room, or only HVAC zone of the room. Fan to go to the next, this is the medium value, this is the floor, so this is 3. Fan again. This is the low value, this is the room, so 310. Then fan again will just loop us, mode will save. Then if we have the laptop with us and we're ready to go, just press FC twice and it'll reboot. Then we want to enter the pan. But if we didn't have the laptop, we could just use default settings, and we just want to make sure it knows basic HVAC functionality. So we're gonna go HAC, mode enter, go up once to FC4, just stands for fan coil 4 pipe.
Okay.
In this case, thermostat's acting as a remote anyway, so we're saying, hey, when should we tell that to turn on? FC4, fan to save. Then we see fan populate, mode enter. We just want to say it's got 3 fan speeds. So we scroll up, we see low, LH, low high, or LNH, which N is supposed to be an M, low medium high.
Got it. So we're low LNH.
Yep, we can press fan to save. And now, you can see we have no other menus in here. Just press FC, press FC one more time. It's getting power cycle.
So that's what they were doing in the rooms when they were going to every room. It's programming it like that. Or they pre-programmed them.
So they would just toss the room number in, then exit out, and put the pan in, then use the laptop to push the configuration.
Got it.
Just like we will in a minute.
Okay.
So we can go back into service mode, hold FC, press release mode, press release fan, release FC. You can see room ID is accurate. I'm just gonna press FC, back out without saving. Parameter pan. Now we wanna go down to 234. Set the pan. Fan. And RF 26, that's accurate. FC to back out. Okay. Now we're good to go on this thermostat.
Okay. So now it has all
but
the
you
functionality.
should write to it with the computer so you have the property specific configurations.
Okay.
because there are some things that are a little different.
Okay, so we'll do that with the laptop.
Yes.
Should we look at accessing the program first?
Yeah, so this is going to be using the engine software. I guess, real quick while I've got it open.
Yeah.
What we're looking at here is just our sequence of operations. So, once the door is connected, door opens and closes. If no motion is detected within a 10-minute period of the door open and closing, the room is now considered unoccupied.
Okay.
So, door closes, and no motion is detected after that point. 10 minutes after that point, the room now goes to a, let's verify you guys are doing a 4-degree drift. Actually up to 2 degrees drift. You guys have a narrow delta.
Okay.
So for an unoccupied room, it's only a 2-degree drift.
And we could.
And for an occupied room, it's a 1-degree drift.
Okay.
So you guys aren't saving that much energy, but the guest won't really notice when the room goes unoccupied.
Yeah.
So if the guest is gone all day, the room would only be about 2 degrees warmer than what the guest left it.
Okay.
Once the property management system is live, a room that's not rented and unoccupied can drift between 64 and 80 degrees. So get as cool as 64, as warm as 80 before kicking in the cooling heat or heat or cooling.
Okay.
Right now, since the property management system isn't connected, it's 64 to 74 is the band for a room that's considered unrented, unoccupied. That unrented is going to be if the room hasn't been entered in a long amount of time, since we're not actually receiving the messages from the property management system at this time.
Okay. And that's just for the sake of the video. That's our light speed,
Yes.
knowing that someone's checked into the room.
Yeah, if I'm saying PMS, I'm referring to light speed.
Yep.
So staff entry is only 2 minutes to unoccupied. So if you use a staff key versus a guest key, the lock will send a different message.
Okay.
So after that point, once the door opens and closes, a 2-minute timeout, then it'll go unoccupied.
Can we change that?
Yes.
Or is there a maid mode or a housekeeping mode?
It depends on whether the room's rented or not.
So if the room's unrented, someone uses a staff key, with the lock set up, it'll be 2 minutes. But then let's say the person comes in the room and starts making the beds, and the occupancy sensor picks up. What will happen?
So 2 minutes after that door closes again. So door closes, no motions detected at that point because the housekeeper has moved to the next room.
Yep.
It will go unoccupied.
Okay. But if they come in, if they open the door and they come in the room after 2 minutes, it'll just stay on as long as they're in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
The 2-minute timeout is just, and so there's a door event.
Mm-hmm.
There's no motion detected after the door event.
Yep.
And that timeout, either the 2 minutes or 10 minutes, is how long until the room goes unoccupied.
Okay.
If someone immediately goes to the bathroom, then comes out, even if it's after the duration, it'll kick back. It'll kick into be occupied and just correct itself.
Okay.
That's just the general functionality, to try to go unoccupied as quick as possible based off of all the sensors in the room. So the more sensors you have, the quicker of a duration you can go unoccupied.
Okay.
But yes, any of these parameters are adjustable.
Great.
So, guest selectable band is 65 to 80. BIP mode, as I showed, is 62 to 85. So So if a room's not rented, so according to the property management system, the room's not rented, there's a staff in the room, it will try to kind of keep the temperature between 68 and 75.
Perfect. Okay. Can you bring up that trunk just to show the edge routers?
Yes.
Might be a good thing for us.
Second. Here's your dehumidification settings. So if the room is above 67% humidity, and the room temperature is above 71 degrees, and the room is unoccupied, and the balcony door is closed, it will turn on low fan and cooling for 25 minutes unless the room gets below 68 degrees, becomes occupied, or the balcony door opens.
Okay.
So that's just what this is saying.
Got it.
Balcony door opens, everything turns off after it being open for longer than 30 seconds.
Okay.
Fan refresh. It'll kick in the fan if the room's unoccupied.
Every 4 hours?
Every 4 hours, yeah.
Okay.
Just for 15 minutes.
Perfect. Just to circulate air around.
Just circulate a little area.
Great.
So we have edge routers on floors 4, 7, 10, 14, and 17.
Okay. And that they communicate, as long as they can communicate to one device, it's my understanding that all the devices communicate to each other.
As long as they have PANs, yes. The more devices that can communicate directly to the router, the better.
Yeah.
But it's a mesh, so each thermostat has the same strength radio as the router.
Okay.
So they can build out, and it will automatically build the best possible network it can. So the longer it's online, the stronger the network becomes, because it finds new routes to communicate with different devices to minimize the hop distance.
Okay, and that, it's not the radio frequency. Which is it? Is it the
PAN ID and
PAN
RF?
ID.
Yeah.
I don't see the PAN ID on there because all of those.
No. So
these right here, they look like they're the same address.
yeah. So B578 is just the model.
Okay.
So.
Oh, you're just gonna label them out there? Okay. So the one we looked out was PAN 234. Oh, I see. So that will be 240?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what would happen if someone put PAN ID 237 on the 14th floor?
That's a far enough distance, the room would most likely show up lost.
Okay.
If you did, like 237 on the 9th floor, for example, that's close enough. You'd probably pick up communication. If you just looked at the room on the server, it would show probably poor communication.
Okay.
And that would be why it would have poor communication. It's just it's a further distance.
Do you have a spare edge router?
I do not on me.
Okay. I would like to set up a one for training. So we have a fake fan coil unit in our shop, and if there's a way that we could build out that room somehow.
So I don't think you would have any network ports down there. Like that would be on the right.
It would be on a different. We'd have to unlock a port, but we could do that.
Yeah, it could be a potential.
Could we hardwire it?
No, not really. That requires a different type of. You and I can talk about this later.
Okay. All right. is the next thing. I'm just gonna keep the tape running too because
So and the as-built documentation will show what rooms are on which pan.
Okay.
I'm just doing this real quick just for demonstration purposes.
All right.
Kind of show what floors.
All right, now, can we look at the program for, let's say, programming?
Yeah, so Engine is the commissioning software that you use up in the room.
Oh,
so
okay.
On desktop, full laptop with it.
Yep.
Do you have a laptop that we could load this on?
Can we use a desktop?
You have to take it up to the room, so.
We'll have to work on that.
Okay. I can get a royal link.
Yep. Yeah, if you could send us the file. Okay, so we go ahead and click on that.
Engine. Yep. Then we can just go File, just like you would in Word. Open
Okay.
Project. You just navigate to the, we call them in-proj files.
Okay.
And you'll be sent one for this property.
Yep.
I have multiple here, you'd only have one. Just navigate to it, open. And then if you look under deployment data,
Mm-hmm.
see the property name and click the down arrow. See all rooms here. There's a couple boxes. So the first one is just, it displays of everything in order.
Okay.
Then we can view everything just by what edge router it's on. That's the second box. The third box is just suites. And the fourth is my preferred view, and this is campus view. Shows everything by floor.
Okay.
So in this view, we can just hit drop down.
Could we do 306 just so we're not doing a standard room?
Yeah, I can show that in a second, but for the strategy room that we're in right now,
Mm-hmm.
we can see we have 4 devices.
Oh, it's got the pictures. Wow. Okay. So you click on each one and it shows the picture of what it is
Yes.
up there. Okay. And then it shows some details on there.
Yeah, so it says what the PAN ID should be,
Oh,
RF
that's
channel,
nice.
room number, and address.
Okay, so everything to program it.
Yeah. Then you can select the device. For an X47,
Mm-hmm.
if you replaced it and you're putting a new one in, the default address isn't what the software is expecting. So you'll want to plug it in, have it good to go, and I'll show this over at the secondary X47 over there.
Yeah, so like the X47, you're saying it has to be actually plugged in, powered up for you to be able to program it.
Yeah, and you want to bind it before you write to it. So you'd hit bind, and you would send the bind.
Okay, so the box says power and everything.
Yeah. Then the light on the
And
device
this is the
will
cable
flash.
that programs.
You want to take something like a paper clip
Okay.
or a small, in this case, a small screwdriver bit. And then if we look at the X47, we can see the lights flashing, and there's a little box that says diag, stands for diagnostic. There's a little hole there, press it in.
Okay, and then
We
the
heard a
laptop-
beep. Yep.
That was a thermostat that chirped?
That was the laptop, but the thermostat chirps a little too.
How did the laptop chirp?
Because it's through the TV.
Okay.
But laptop chirps because
Because it's connected to the network.
it's got a little radio.
Okay.
You can see device is now online. And I did X47-2 since that's the secondary unit in this room.
Okay.
If it was the primary unit, I would have done X47-1,
Okay.
or if it was a standard room. And now we can just hit write configuration.
Where did go back to that again? Where was right configuration? Oh, down here.
Yep.
Okay.
And we can write configuration to all the devices.
Okay, you lost me there a second. So,
So I'm just clicking on each device,
okay.
and I'm pressing write configuration. So if I minimize this, so E7-1 is primary thermostat. E7-2 is the secondary thermostat.
Okay.
Then X47/1 is the primary. And X47-2 is the secondary.
Okay. The box is inside.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you select the device, and you press right configuration,
Yep.
opens up the task viewer. And you can see it writing to the device.
So we bring the laptop to the room, right?
Yes.
Let's say we replace one of those out, right? The X47s.
Yes.
Right. We put a new one in. We go to right configuration, right? Well, we select.
You go bind first.
Oh yeah, we select the room. We bind by going and pressing the diagnostics button.
Yes. So you go into the software.
Mm-hmm. I just missed.
You select the X47.
Yep. Oh, I missed this. So you're gonna click bind there first.
Then you press bind.
Okay.
Then send.
Then
and
send.
if it's working, it'll just the light on the device will start flashing.
Okay.
Then you can take something small and press in the diagnostic within that time period.
Now, does the laptop have to be connected to the network?
No, but it needs to have a PC503.
Okay, so it is. So it's receiving.
This is a radio. Yes.
So that's what's communicating to the
Yes.
device. Okay. So you're sending.
And that's why desktop wouldn't work.
Got it. So you're sending the signal out to it to bind. The light blinks. We press the diagnostic button like we did on here
Yes.
on the device inside the unit.
Yep.
Okay. And then once that
Says
happens.
device online.
Yep.
Then you can go back to summary. Then right configuration.
Then right configuration. Okay. Click that button again. So then it would just
So when you hit right configuration, it pulls up
the task
the
manager.
task viewer,
Right.
and now we can see they're all finished.
Okay. So the list of devices here, you've got
So if you just hit right
you've got
configuration,
4 devices in this room. 5 devices?
4.
4. Okay, so it's just running through them again, but
Yep.
it's showing the 4 from when we previously ran through there.
Yes.
So there's device 225, 14, 224. Why is there 215 devices? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. There was
There's
14.
224 devices because I'm writing to 224 again.
Got it. Okay. All right. So it goes through. These are the 4 devices. Is it E47?
So X47,
X47s.
X47-2,
Yep.
which we can look down here and see it a little easier.
Mm-hmm. So the 2 thermostats are the E7s.
E7-1, E7-2, yep.
And then the box inside is the X47.
X47-1,
Okay.
X47-2. If we look at a normal room, like 306 for example,
Yep.
we can see we only have one of each.
Okay. Great. Okay, so once it's finished, then what?
We can just test,
Test and make
verify
sure.
it's working.
Okay, what would be the best way to test that it's
Go up to high enough temperature, it'll heat.
Yep.
See if it's heating. Check your 3 fan speeds. Go to low enough temperature to cool, and make sure it's cooling.
Okay. How could we confirm that it's also working with the PMS?
So
Like, let's say it's checked in.
if you go to a room that just checked in, it should be at 72 degrees as the set temp.
Okay. Is there a way
You
to
can also look on the server to see, make sure it's like seeing. You can look at trend data and see. Okay, this room checked in around 2 p.m.
Okay.
It went from a large band to a narrow band.
Got it.
And that'd be a good question to ask when
But
you're in the network training as well with the DD.
Okay. You couldn't check from the thermostat.
Not really easily, besides seeing if it changed from like off to be at 72 degrees
Okay.
as a set temp.
Okay.
Because check-in temperature is 72.
Got
If we look over at the unit, let's turn the open.
Yep.
So, for wires from it, which if we look at the actual X47, it's labeled.
Mm-hmm.
It can be kind of hard to see. The design document shows what every wire does as well. But We start at orange. This is our low fan. Brown is our medium fan. Blue is our high fan. Gray, violet, and red all need to be connected to the power, the 24 volt AC power. These are just for different relays.
Like for your actuators?
Yeah, so the 3 fan relays, we have our gray. Yeah, your fan common is purple or violet. Then your valve common is gray. Okay. So that's just what's feeding those relays. So in this case, they're all fed 24 volt AC. Okay. So they should all be tied together. And red is just your power to the unit itself. White is heat. Yellow is cool. And black is your common and green is your ground. Those all get tied together. Okay. Those two get tied together. So if you're metering, you set your multimeter to volts AC. Mm-hmm. And you would either take your black probe and touch it to ground of the unit. You could also touch it to common. Then you take your red probe and you check what you're trying to test. So if you're trying to test heat, you take your red probe, you put it on the white wire, and you should be seeing 24, 27 volts AC somewhere in there.
Yep.
If you're trying to check cool, you take your red probe, put it on the yellow wire. If you're trying to test your fan speeds, you either go set thermostat to low and check your orange, set the thermostat to medium and check your brown, or set the thermostat to high and check your blue wire.
Okay.
Any questions?
What are the other 3 wires that come out of the side?
So these are your. So this connects to your H9 header. This is what connects to the thermostat.
Okay.
So
they
we got
changed
brown.
From.
They changed colors a little.
Yep.
So it's wired in. This isn't a great example because it's not actually wired through the wall right now. It's just plugged in as a test.
Okay.
But brown connects to your black. This is common.
Okay.
Red continues to be red. This is your 12 volt DC. Mm-hmm. Orange connects to white. This is your S5 bus.
Got it. Okay. And is that in the as-built document or the?
Yes, that is in the design document.
Can we look at that?
Sure.
I'll probably print it out so the team has it. Perfect, okay.
Sorry about that. But yeah, we can see what each of the wires do and where they go on the thermostat.
Okay.
Obviously, this doesn't show what colors the actual conductors in the wall are.
Yeah.
But it shows where they connect on that, on the relay pack, and where they connect on the thermostat.
Got it. Okay. All right. Could you edit this document to put in the colors that we have in there?
I don't know if it's fully consistent if the same conductors were used through the property.
Okay.
Like in case
they might
different wires were installed on different floors.
Okay.
So it's best to just verify what you're looking at an actual unit.
Okay.
And this shows where this wire should connect to the thermostat, which feels intuitive.
Okay. All right, and then what about, so once a week I'm going to have someone check alerts. Could we look at how to see lost devices?
So that is something There'll be a primary kind of objective of the network training,
Okay.
which will be handled through Teams or
Okay.
WebEx, whatever software of your choice, with one of our engineers, most likely Dee.
Okay. Anything else you think we need to know?
I do not believe so.
Okay. All right. Thank you.